This video is related to deliverable 3.4, which is the linked data model mapper tool, part of the ALIGNED project. This deliverable is part of Workpackage 3, Semantics-driven software engineering, and will be deployed in the DBpedia Phase 2 trials. So here the Interlink validation tool is introduced, which was produced for the D3.4 linked data model mapper tool deliverable. The purpose of the tool is to validate sets of interlinks between a source dataset and multiple target datasets. As datasets evolve and change over time, these changes can end up invalidating already existing interlinks. So it's important to be able to find which of these interlinks are still valid and correct, and which ones are invalid and incorrect. The tool validates interlinks through standard SPARQL queries that compare the source and target resources in the interlinks to their respective datasets. So for a quick overview of the tool, it takes in 2 inputs and produces 4 outputs. The external dataset parameter file is where details about the external datasets are specified, such as the external dataset's name and how that dataset will be accessed, whether it be through a dump file or a federated SPARQL query. The other input then is the set of interlinks that are to be actually validated. The tool will validate the interlinks by comparing them to the source and target datasets, and will then produce its outputs. So one of the output files it produces contains the interlinks are found to be valid, and another file it produces contains the interlinks are found to be invalid. 2 log files are also produced. One is a Plaintext Log indicating any of the invalid interlinks that were found between the source and target datasets, and the other log records similar information but is encoded in RDF and is described using the ALIGNED meta models. The Interlink validation tool fits into the DBpedia use case by providing validation of the interlinks that are to be published as part of a dataset release. So this image displays the workflow of the DBpedia dataset release. Interlink validation occurs in the validation process of this workflow. Looking closer at DBpedia's interlink management process, this is handled in the post-processing phase. For the DBpedia project, interlinks can come from 3 sources. 1, they can be freshly generated, but this only occurs for a small number of external datasets. 2, they can be retrieved from an interlink repository, where the wider DBpedia community submit interlinks to. 3, they can be copied over from the previous DBpedia release. The Interlink validation tool validates interlinks that come from the interlink repository and interlinks that are copied over from the previous release. Freshly generated interlinks do not need to be validated. So please note that the interlink validation tool was used in this manner to actually validate the interlinks that were released in the 2015-10 release of the DBpedia dataset back in April 2016. So now I'll provide a demonstration of the tool. So in this demonstration, DBpedia version 2015-10 is being used as the source dataset, and we will validate 3 sets of interlinks to external datasets. These 3 sets of interlinks are from the DBpedia version 2015-04 dataset. So here is the tools directory. Then the external dataset.txt file is where we set the parameters for the tool. So here the parameters have been set up to validate sets of interlinks from the DBpedia dataset to the Amsterdam Museum dataset, specified on this line here. Then the Cordis dataset, specified on this line here. And then the ALIGNED dataset, specified on this line here. So for the Amsterdam Museum interlinks, only the source resources will be validated against the DBpedia dataset. For the Cordis interlinks, the source resources will be validated against the DBpedia dataset, and the target resources are validated against the Cordis dataset via a federated SPARQL query. For the ALIGNED interlinks, the source resources will be validated against the DBpedia dataset, and the target resources are validated against the ALIGNED dataset via a dump file of the ALIGNED dataset. So when the parameters have been specified in this file, the file can be saved, and then the tool can be run. so it takes a few moments for the tool to run. So now that the tool is finished executing, we will look at the tools directory and we will find that 2 log files have been produced. First, we will look at the Plaintext Log file. And this log file records the number of interlinks that were checked between the source and target datasets, and also indicates the interlinks that were found to be invalid. And it does this for the 3 interlink sets that were checked by the tool. So now we will look at the Odf log files. So this log file, again, it records similar information to the plaintext log file, such as details about the source and target datasets and the invalid interlinks found, but this time encoded in Odf and described according to the aligned meta models. So this allows the Odf log files, which are produced by the interlink validator tool, to be consumed by aligned unified governance tools. Also produced by the tools are 2 sets of files. One set contains the valid interlinks. The other set of files contain the invalid set of interlinks. And these are stored in the valid and invalid directories respectively. So this concludes the demonstration of the interlink validation tool, and it also concludes this video. Thank you for your attention.